Hello and welcome to my shop, such as it is. I have an interesting project I'm going to take with me on the journey today. I had an idea about doing some bandsaw stuff, and I was going to use the bandsaw trick, I guess they call it, where you take a squared blank and make kind of a wavy cut through it, and then go 90 degrees and make another wavy cut from it, and you rotate those pieces around, you end up with this beautiful kind of wavy standing pillar, particularly to use it for like lamp bodies. I experimented with one with hardwoods. This is laminated plywood, which is kind of a redundant thing to say. This is a bunch of plywood sheets that I've glued together. I'm going to do one long grain. I'm going to do one short grain. But the first thing we need to do before we can even go over to the bandsaw is get these puppies squared up. This one, I've got a nice reference surface down here. So I'm probably going to start by doing a little end cut here just to clean this up. If this is not too thick for my table saw, which it might well be, it won't be too thick for my bandsaw. But I don't know if it's going to be... what do we got? 3 3/4 almost. I think that'll be fine. It's a 10-inch bandsaw. The old 8 1/4-inch bandsaw probably could have handled it, but I think this will be... Well, it's pushing the limit of how big the blade can go. Anyway, let's get table sawing. Let me bring you over here. I'm probably actually going to have to do this. Probably going to have to do this without a crosscut sled, because with the crosscut sled in there, I suspect... I mean, I'm going to have to make some rip cuts too. But I suspect that losing the 1/2 inch off the base of the sled might make this so where it can't get all the way up there. Let's bring the blade all the way up and see what we've got. I mean, I could do... Oh, wow, that's... All right, even without the sled, we're losing too much height. That's not going to work. So I'm going to have to do this in 2 passes. I don't know how I'm going to handle that one, but I'm going to have to do this in 2 passes. So do a pass, flip, and do another pass. So let me get my PPE on, and we'll give this a try. I'm still going to do it with the sled, because this gives me the most secure way to run this through. And my bandsaw goes up to 6 inches. Sorry, I know I'm off screen for a second here. I just want to... Yeah. I mean, if I felt like I could keep this square, the bandsaw would be the better tool here, because it actually can handle this. Man, you know, I'm going to try the bandsaw. I mean, I can do these dimensioning cuts with the thick blade I have in there. I've got, I don't know, 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch blade in there right now, which is really made for doing straight work, straight line cutting. And I've got a more narrow blade to put in there to do the shaping line. Put the table saw away. Get the old bandsaw out. I mean, it's a lot to ask of this whole thing, I think. But we'll see, you know. Got this nice light on a stand now. See, I can move that around anywhere I need it. Gives me a nice view. So as you can see, bandsaw can handle this with room to spare. It won't be able to handle this on this end. So definitely going to need the table saw for at least part of that. Do I just eyeball this? Doing those long cuts is going to be tricky too. I know I'm kind of hemming and hawing here. I'm just trying to think this through before I actually. I mean, I ask myself, can I do this? The proper question probably should be, how can I do this? Not yes or no, can I, but what strategy can we take to get this accomplished? All right, so let's just use this top piece as a reference, which doesn't have a square end on it, which, you know, I'm not surprised because I wasn't going for a square with that. And let's check. Get that all the way up. All the way up and see if we can't. A little bit too high. I need like a 4-inch square. That would be handy to have. I do have this little. Okay. Blade is not square to the table. The table needs to come this way. Right. There we go. Okay. Blade is square to the tabletop now. Have a really good knob for tightening. There we go. So that'll let me nip the ends off. I mean, do I try and freehand this? I'm not thrilled about that idea. But, I mean, I've got plenty of wood to spare here. So if I nib that and it's not right, I've got plenty of wood to nib more off of. Maybe it would be better to start with this end because there's already waste, as you can see over here, because these panels were slightly different lengths. And I'll reference off the same top piece here. I know, my elbow's in your face here. Okay. We have our reference line. Put on our PPE and see if we can't do this. Can you still hear me through the mask? I mean, you're not going to hear me for long. This whole thing sounds like a freight train when it gets rolling. Going to cut on the inside of the kerf in this situation. Well, it ain't perfect, but it's not awful. Really should invest in a better square. I mean, this one's fine for now, but try it again. Kind of cool looking, don't you think? Interesting. Oh, that's a much nicer cut. That one is actually a lot happier with that one. Also a little off from square. I could square that up with a hand plane. And I wonder if I can do these cuts. What if I clamp a straight edge here, act as a guide. What do I have? All right, it's got a nice straight edge on it. Let's say I want to come that far in. That deep with that, and then we just have to make sure that this is square to the table. Wow. I am actually genuinely impressed with how close I got that on the first shot. All right, give it a try. This might have been ambitiously thick. That's what she said. Another in the way. Right. Wandering away. See, it's getting thicker as it goes along. Even with the stop in place, wandering, which is what I believe they call blade drift. That'll be accurate enough for now for this, but definitely something I'm going to have to learn how to correct in the future. All right. See, this is where the blade drift is kind of biting me in the ass. It's not equally thick all the way down. The blade's drifting out of the cut. The blade drifted out of the cut. So it should still be cutting there. Fortunately, this does not need to be perfectly square. Oh, that is so not square. Why are you doing this to me, Saw? All right, that's something I definitely need to work on before I tackle the next piece. For now, I'm going to see if I can square this up a bit. Hand planes. Seem to have a fair amount of success with those at any rate. Oh, except, oh, it just fits. Okay. Actually, go the other way. All right, I haven't tried plating anything like this yet, so discover this together, shall we? See that? Way over at the end there. Here, let me bring you over on this side. You can actually see what I'm working on. There we go. So we got high and high, and we're going to try and bring those down so they're about the same. Sorry. All right, the floor needs sweep. I'll take care of that in a minute. All right. Before I hit the bandsaw once again, we do need to chamfer the corners here. I have a new toy for that. Ta-da! Grab a glove so I don't get any splinters. You know, when you just need to put a chamfer on it, it doesn't have to be exactly 45 degrees. I really love this little block plane. I mean, I suspect with some practice, I could do decent 45s on it anyway. Freehand. I suppose I could use a spoke shave for this as well. All right, we've got chamfers. Back to the bandsaw. Once more, dear friends, onto the breech of the bandsaw. Sorry, I just got to get this mess off the floor. I'm a little tidy. I'm being a little tidy. It is very lovely, though, isn't it? All right, now you know, I got these Jorgensen clamps, the local blue box store. I really like them, except the rubber pads just keep falling off so easily. It's kind of annoying, TBH. All right, back to the bandsaw. Except now we have to change blades, because this dummy thick blade is meant for cutting straight lines, even though it seems to only want to cut at an angle. What I need to put on is a more narrow blade. Got these 1/8 inch blades. That's a hell of a lot more narrow. So come with me on this journey, won't you? Ooh, let's start vacuuming this stuffed up. I have to change the bag on the vacuum. Which I will not do on camera, I promise. Okay, knob on top is tension. Knob on back is wheel angle. So first things first, let's untension this blade. All right, now stowing these is a little tricky. You gotta kind of give them a couple of twists, and hopefully don't cut your hands on them. This is where I like to have gloves on. It's just got to prevent a bunch of tiny little nicks that are preventable. Oh, we're halfway there, and now this just gets a twist in the other direction. Come on, there you go. Fold in. Come on. You know, when this works, it works so easily. I did this before. I mean, obviously I've done it before, as I have blades that are neatly wrapped up. Right, so this is going to sink inside. There we go. See? When it works, it just goes right there. And it'll just stay there, too. All right, I haven't had a ton of success with this little 1/8 inch blade. It might be too thin and delicate for what I'm trying to do here. But this is a truth we will discover together. I also ordered some new tires for this because these things look really beat up. Is there even a tire on there? Yeah, a little bit of rubber left on there, not much, and it's really hard. This is a fiddly process, without a doubt. I imagine newer bandsaws make this whole thing a whole lot easier. I can't imagine that they wouldn't. Oops. That's staying on the wheel. All right. Sorry, that was annoying me too. All right. Give this a turn. Oh, it's moving that way. I think we need to angle this. There we go. Doing. That's what I was afraid of. That is what takes a while with this whole process. Getting her to roll square on those so you can kick the speed up. See, and it's the blade is tensioned right now. It's a little too tight. This is going to take me a few minutes, people. More than a few minutes, but it's going to take several hot minutes to get this accomplished. And to be honest, from what I've seen in other people's videos, this really doesn't get much less fiddly. I think it is just fundamentally a fiddly process. Doesn't help that this machine is 100 years old. Well, not 100 years old. You know what I mean. It's an old machine. Come on. You stay on there. I mean, not to mention you're handling a sharp blade. And those teeth want to cut everything they come in contact with. Which includes your fingers. Here we go. I think I need to lube up those parts back there. The adjustment things, because I turn that wheel and it doesn't seem to want to move until it does, and then it jumps a huge jump. It makes everything super loose, which is also counterproductive to actually getting this done. No, stay on the wheel. Stay on the wheel, stay on the wheel. Come on you go. I mean, the trick obviously is to have multiple bandsaws in your shop, each one being set up to take a different cut, right? I mean, that seems the only sensible solution to me. Okay. Got it on. We've got it riding in the center. Now we've got a tension, but we have to go back and forth between the tensioning and the wheel angle, because changing the tension actually changes how the wheel turns. Actually affects the wheel angle. I want to have my hands here and make sure that this is not drifting off the wheel. It actually feels like it is. Let's that way. No, go the other way. There we go. Much better. A little too much though. Think. I'm only doing this like this because I have it unplugged. Oh, that's riding right off. Oh, no, 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 no. It's going to take a minute. And I'm likely to kill someone in the process. Now, let me spray some dry lube in there. I remember where I put it. Really need to organize my shelves over here. Dry lube, which will lubricate the parts without, hopefully, being likely to get filled up with sawdust. Oh, that's moving much better now. Now you can actually see the wheel moving as I turn that knob. For the record, this is significantly less fiddly with the wider blades. It's still a fiddly process either way, but much less fiddly with the wide blades. Oh. There's a big lump in the tire there. That's where my freight train sound is coming from, I'll bet. All right. Wow, lubricating that is making this whole process so much easier. All until that happens. We will get there. Just a lot of different things at play here. All right. Oh, that is. I already feel better just for having done that. I also have like literally no guide about how tight to make this belt to make the bands. Even the channels that I've watched that talk about how to set up a bandsaw, they're like, eyeball it. The newer bandsaws have like a meter on the back. Basically, it just showing you the distance of the wheel. But again, every video I've ever watched from experienced builders say, yeah, you can basically just ignore that meter. Or at best, it's a guide. It's an initial guide, and you dial it in from there by feel. That seems to be the only way to do this, is getting a feel for it. Which is what I'm doing right now. It is the process of mounting the blade, making some adjustments, having it pop off, and mounting it again. That's what getting a feel for is all about. Where did that pop off? That felt centered to me. What the fuck is going on? I mean, what the actual fuck? Certainly helps to have the adjustment wheel actually move the wheel when you dial it. Okay. It is on. Start cranking on some pressure here. One step at a time. That way. So we're going to tilt the wheel this way. So I got to feel this side and watch this side. Okay. Seems to be staying centered. Let's crank on some more tension. Oh, it's moving towards the front. So you want to tip it that way a little bit. Tip it a little bit more. Yep, let's bring it back to center. All right, crank the shit out of it. And feels like it's moving towards that way. So we'll give this a little crank that way. I am definitely in what the fuck country right now. Why, the ever-loving fuck, does that keep popping off like that? Okay, that's moving way towards the back. Ooh. Woo, woo, woo. I just heard a twink. Where did that twink come from? See, right at the top here. That is so sketch. And I don't know for sure. Okay. It seems to be centered. This is not centered. The blade on this lower wheel is coming this way. Are these wheels not? I have to look into that. I feel like the blade should be in exactly the same position on both wheels, and it is absolutely not. On this lower wheel, it is very much that way. Means we want to make sure it goes further back. That's sitting better. Except now the top one, it's going to pop off. I have a sneaking suspicion these wheels are not parallel to each other, depth-wise. Not going to lie, I really want to stop. Really want to stop right now. There definitely is a time to stop and just walk away from it and come back to it later. But then I'm dealing with the feeling of having something half finished. And that's a very irritating feeling. Okay. Blade is on. Add a little tension. Oh. And it just slooped right off that bottom wheel. That's a good way to cut a finger. Okay. Maybe it would help if I turn this lower wheel, because this is actually the driven wheel. This is the free wheel. Right? Seems to be sitting pretty square. Seems to be sitting still is further forward down here than I would like it to be, but really is a fiddly process. that riding spot, close to the edge. I can do this. I did it once before with this blade. Done it several times with the bigger blades. I know that it can be done. No, 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 no. This side is going to be my first indicator. So it's moving this way. Just a nudge like that. Whoops. Oh, we want to give it just a nudge like that, I guess. Or not. I wish this was powered. So you just push a button, it would go. That would make this whole thing so much more pleasant. Okay. Clockwise turn I'm going to make a note for myself. Clockwise moves it back, right? We've just discovered. Counterclockwise moves it forward. Okay, that looks pretty centered. Little nudge. You have to do this dance between the two knobs. The angle adjustment knob just takes a tiny little bit to actually get an adjustment out of it. Clockwise towards the back. I turned it clockwise. Once more, dear friends and viewers, unto the breach. Or fill up the hole with our English dad. Okay, that's moving towards the back of the wheel. We want to move it towards the front of the wheel. We're going to counterclockwise just a little bit. Go. Another little counterclockwise adjustment. All right. So far, so good. That still feels in a place I'm not comfortable with. Clockwise, move it towards the back. Yes. Yes. Okay. We think that needs to be shimmed out. Oh, that's a little more towards the back. A little too much. There we go. Here we go. That's centered. Doesn't feel centered, but it's on. Okay. All right, I think that's as tight as we want to get it. Now let's just make sure the band is staying centered. No, it's moving that way. So we want a little bit of a nudge. A nudge. I nudged it. I genuinely nudged it. I really did. I'm sure if I had way more experience, a nicer, newer bandsaw, I wouldn't be spending an hour doing this. I'm just gonna take it to what the tension is where I want it. Now, start turning it very slowly. Look at this side. It's moving that way. I want to go clockwise just a little bit. That popped off the bottom. That one popped off the bottom. So especially with this skinny little blade, I definitely need to run it more towards the back than I might normally fancy. I also got to look into the adjustment of that wheel. Whoa, 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 whoa. I know you're just seeing my back a lot right now, but all right, that feels nice and tight. Part of me wants to just give up here. I mean, I do have this other blade that was on it that's intermediate. I think that's what I need to do right now. You're gonna need to take a step back. Go with the intermediate size blade. Hope that it can make the kind of cut that I want it to make. And then come back, try with the little blade again. I don't know how sharp this one is, but I mean, it is possible I'm over tightening it, but there's apparently no way to tell. Also possible that blade is just too thin for this machine, too narrow. I mean, I don't really know a whole lot about bandsaws yet. And that one also gives me a much smaller margin for error. Much smaller margin of error. Yeah, see, I've got teeth. I know you can't see, but it is pretty damn close to dead center here. Like really close. About as close as you could hope to be eyeballing it. And down here, it's running right on the edge of the wheel. It's telling me that this wheel needs to be shimmed out just a little bit. All right, get our blade guides in. Which are really just Brass rods? I feel like there's something better I could get for this. Teflon or something. I mean, the nice modern ones have ball bearings, wheel bearings in there, roller bearings. Bearings. They have bearings in there. All right. This nudge back. Oh, okay. Well, that one wasn't my fault. It was a blade that gave up the ghost, which they do. They only have so much life in them. But I don't know when that microphone died. We'll find out. We'll cut that part out. Anyway, here we are again. Still working on the bandsaw. All right, you know what? Give it a little bit of juice and see what happens. This is the part where I stand way back. All right, you know what? That is all the energy I have for fucking around this morning. It's either going to work or it ain't. Once more into the breach. Probably would have been easier if I hadn't been up for several hours last night with insomnia. If this pops off while I'm trying to cut it, I'm done. I'm done for the morning. Done for the morning and done for the video. Maybe even done for the day.